Before we get into today's episode, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Open Doors Open Mind YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and on our other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook and now TikTok. Links to all will be in the description below. But without further ado, let's watch the episode.
You're back.
It's 2023.
Wow.
And can I just say, today was a very weird day. Now, I haven't ever said a sentence or heard a sentence saying that's been said to me in my entire life. And it took me to a really sad, dark place this morning.
Oh.
So I got up. How cold is it, by the way?
Yeah, without swearing, very cold.
It's -6, right? It's been -6 all evening, all night, even this morning. Get out there, jacket on, fine. Thermal's cool. Take the dog out. I've got dentist in the morning, so I go and take the dog out. I go and do a walk. I walk up to this forest, and normal thing, open the gate, get in there, and Lois kind of runs, and I was like, well, you don't normally just run from here. And then I was like, what's going on? And literally, in that moment, I noticed that there was someone sleeping rough in this forest. They had a sleeping bag, their shoes were to the side, and they had like like a dressing gown thing, like tied at the top and at the bottom to keep the cold out. It's -6. It's been -6 all evening, and then the morning. So I phoned my friend and I said, "Look, there's someone here sleeping rough. It's so cold. What should I do?" She said, "Well, probably phone the police." I was like, "Okay." So I phoned the police, and do you know what they said to me?
Go on.
"Can you go and see if he's alive?" Mate, my heart.
I'm
My
hoping that he was, or she,
And,
or he was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say 99% times it's a man. I can
Well,
tell
that's
by
why I
the shoes.
automatically thought, because most people that
So I
own
went
this are men.
round and I said, "Hello. Hi." And I was like, "Please don't be dead." I literally was saying, "Please don't be dead." Anyway, he did stir. And I said, "Hello, you all right?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, do you need anything? It's really cold. Like, do you need some food? Do you need some warmth, whatever? I know some people I can take to somewhere. He's like, "No, I'm fine." And I was like, "Okay." So I phoned back the person and I said, there's an app that you can download, and I think it's called Street Link, and it's Street Link, and you can location where you see people that are vulnerable sleeping in
So they can go and check.
so they can
those
go
places,
check.
right?
Yeah, so you can put a thing. But I've never said, I've got my earphones on, I've never said ever that sentence, like, "Please don't be dead."
And how was it left?
I reported the situation, and then he wasn't there when I came back. So because I thought, oh, do you know, I'll finish the dog walk and come back, and even if I'm going to be late or miss my dentist appointment, who cares? I'll just go. My friend owns a coffee shop in Theo. I'll just go there. I'll pick up some stuff, and say, "Look, do you want me to take you somewhere?" Because to get to a point that you're outside in -6,
you've really got to be in a bad place.
that's
right?
got to be. But he looked like he was homeless. I'll give you that. But he didn't look, like
like a typical
unkept.
homeless you're about to go with, aren't you?
Yeah, he didn't look overly unkempt. He had a beard and shaggy hair and stuff like that. But he was in the same age as probably us. And but just where he was, like in the middle of this forest, well, to the side nearest to the road, I was just like under a tree, and it was just ice, white,
And that is cold this morning. Anybody that's out there watching this right now, when the day we're talking about, it's literally, there's icicles hanging off of tree branches. There's not one thing that isn't frozen. Right
It looks beautiful from inside my house, looking out the window.
Yeah, when you're in the warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But in the politest way, his mental health can't be good. Your mental health, obviously putting yourself through that, but there should be.
Honestly, I just felt terrible. It just, I'm not sleeping rough, and I have slept. I'm not gonna say rough. I have slept outside for charity, and it was like 4 degrees. So
And that was cold enough, right?
mate,
it
it
being
was
in
so
minus
cold.
6,
But then we
minus
had
7.
like sandwiches and and whatever, all
Coffees,
everything we
teas,
needed.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
well, hopefully that person's somebody's
Hopefully.
going to help, or
Hopefully, if you want help, it's difficult.
it does.
Can I
depend.
help you if you don't want help?
No,
No.
no, you can't help somebody if they don't want help. You've obviously pushed buttons, haven't you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's fine.
tip for
My thing. I kind of said this before we started recording and all the technical issues that I had. How are you?
I'm not bad.
Oh.
I'm doing. Yeah, life in it. Life. 1 minute it seems, oh, I'm getting somewhere. And mental health's great, and then another day you're like, "Urgh." It just doesn't work, does it?
It's life.
That's what obviously that comment that was made a little while ago. Is mental health curable? I still stand by, and this is my own opinion. It doesn't make me a coward after someone put that on a statement.
What?
You know when we had that conversation
Someone put coward.
that me and you are cowards for saying that it can't be cured because we said it's manageable. Apparently we're a coward.
Okay. Cool.
We meant it in
Do you know what?
good way, not in a bad
Why?
way.
Why don't you come on and have a chat?
I'm up for having.
I'm up for
I
that.
don't even think it's a debate. It's my personal opinion
No,
of
no,
what
that's
my
fine.
own experience is.
That's fine, but that's maybe they say something again and we're like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe there's something that they have. They just might have articulated it badly. I'm guaranteeing not. I guarantee they just went, I'm behind my computer, coward. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And then a friend of ours on the show stuck up for us, and then they started on him. I was like,
Oh, yeah,
well, in the
it's
politest
too-
way, it does hit the magical button. But everybody that I think in this world, as it's a free world, is allowed an opinion.
Yeah, doesn't mean it means anything though.
No,
Yeah.
it didn't offend me.
No.
I just thought it was quite hilarious. That I personally, my mental health over Christmas, obviously Christmas for many people is a very difficult time, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be all this snowdrops on the floor and everyone's having food.
I've nearly stepped over like twice today, so it's fine. I was like, well, there's me and A&E.
But it's just like, I enjoyed Christmas,
Right.
but it's not the same as it was. I want to go back to being that naive young boy that, like, Father Christmas, the excitement.
Just identify as a young, naive boy. It's fine.
Don't start. I'm now a 10-year-old.
Would you like to be a 10-year-old?
No,
Oh.
no, I want to be 18 again.
Oh, okay. And now it just sounds creepy.
It was creepy. No, in a sense of
You weren't excited about Christmas when you were 18, though, were
a
you?
bit like Wizard of Oz. I want the curtains to be shut.
Oh, you
In the
don't want to
sense of
find
I don't
out.
want to peer behind the curtain, kind of.
It's
thing.
a red pill, blue pill situation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You're staying in the blue pill world. You want to stay like
Is it the blue pill that you just want everything to be
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to find out the real stuff
No,
behind
as
this
in,
curtain.
I think a lot of people in this world live in bubbles and don't understand what real hardship is or what real.
I live in a
bad mental-
bungalow, actually, just to say. Hey, light relief. I tell you what, I was listening to a thing the other day, and it was talking about that it was an actor. I can't remember what the actor's name was. And he was saying that he wishes that his highs didn't have to come with the lows. So sometimes, like in life, you have like some incredible highs,
Yep.
and then later on, it's like a sugar, rushes, whatever. The
crash kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's a crash,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's loads of lows. And he was like, I really wish, and I've kind of said this before, but not that sort of way, but I really wish that I could just sort of sit in the middle, just be kind of just constant, just that nice thing, and not
You
too many
wouldn't-
highs and blah, blah,
I
blah.
don't think you'd appreciate it.
No, and also when he told someone that, they were like, "Oh, do you know what that is?" He said, "The life is this." Right. So
Yeah.
if you look at your heartbeat and you have a ECG and stuff like that, it's like that. That's literally there's ups and downs. Yeah.
Yep.
What's this?
Dead.
Yeah.
That is a
Flat
fact
line.
because you'd never, in a polite way, I now know when I'm having a banging day through the the experiencing what you would say the lows, right? Because don't get me wrong, I've been anxious, I've gone into fight and flight mode, but it's recognizing Whereas before I was a bit ignorant and not knowing what was happening to me, like educating yourself about mental health and what the signs are and how to cope with it. Like take a week off. So I took a week off, reset my mental health. Not everyone's in that privilege.
What did you do in that week? I just play FIFA. That'll be terrible.
So like I did all my stuff that I've like my therapist taught me, other stuff that I've learned, educated myself. So like from playing strategy games on my phone and bits and pieces and doing stuff for me, and like in a polite way, it sounds really weird. I went to the barbers. Yes, okay, everybody, I'm bald, but like I had a shave, a Turkish, but it's
the local one.
The local one. The very local
okay.
one. But yeah, in the sense of just doing some stuff that doesn't cost millions of pounds, but for myself, like I went to the gym when I was at my peak, so I wasn't tired and trying to fit it round, and I ate what I wanted to eat and not worried about what's going on in the big wide world. I kind of like did what I wanted, go and see people, reset myself, and come back hitting it hard again. Whereas before, when I was a bit ignorant, I didn't pick up on the signs where I was slipping. Whereas now I'm educated, or still learning as such with my mental health, but having the toolbox with all the little tools that all can make up. So like I'm taking like herbs and bits and pieces that helps with mental health, scientifically proven bits and pieces like that. Educate, listening to podcasts about mental health.
Is that why we've got so many plants here? These are fake ones. Hopefully you're not eating any of those herbs. Cool.
No. But like, I don't know, it's just taking time for yourself. And people are like, what I've been trying to contact you. Yeah, listen, and the problem is, when you speak to somebody, like, perfect example, we both was having a conversation before we went on air. We both said, how you been, what you been up to, blah, blah, blah. You told me all your bad things, and I told you all my bad things, right? But
God, we're such bloody millennials.
No, but what I'm trying to say, there was goods and bad in that. But I've noticed is you kind of take on the other person's, like if the other person's have a bit of a difficult time, you take on a little bit of responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So what I did was kind of like, not cut everybody off, just leave me alone.
I need
for a
some
minute.
time for me, and none need to sort out your stuff at the same time. Yeah.
Just like I go to the gym, I put the headphones on. I just didn't talk. Not like if someone come up to me, I wasn't rude and go like, fuck off, mate. I was like, just got on with what I needed to do. I was like listening to music.
What are you listening to?
So
I want to know what your go-to things are that you listen to when you're doing gym and stuff.
Listen to a bit of happy hardcore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it all depends what exercise I do. So what I've worked out, for me, it all depends on what exercise I'm doing, and I'll tailor the music accordingly.
I'm a weirdo. I don't listen to
if
any
you've got
music.
a beat and you're trying to do, say, like chest and stuff,
Yeah.
you don't want one that's like really, really slow. You want one that's like a bit of motivation behind it.
See, I can't. I listen to no music.
Do you know? I didn't used to. I just used to listen to the background. But it's kind of, I wanted to just focus.
I listen to our podcast.
See, no, I get too distracted like that.
Yeah,
I tried that.
I need it. I need to distract you. I don't want to be there.
Yeah, but then you lose the count you're doing.
No, it's fine. I can do that. Like, I can multitask.
See, I lost myself in the podcast before I realised that someone tapping me going, you got any more sets in that? And I'm like, how long have I actually been here? Like, laying there for?
Just massive.
Like, sorry, mate. And like, there's a queue behind you. No, but I found like certain music.
There's no queue at your gym. It's fine. It's quiet.
How do you know what gym I'm at?
Oh, you go to the gym here?
No.
Oh, you went to the gym near here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go to, you're on about the one down the road here, aren't you?
No, isn't there? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the one down the road, yeah.
Yeah, no, so I go to 365.
Oh, okay.
So I've also worked out different timings, different people in the gym. And that's the other thing I've worked out.
What, hotness-wise?
No. Well, yeah. But in a sense of people around you also influence your mental health.
Okay, yeah.
So like if I was training down there, which I normally get there between 7:30 and 8:30, that was my usual. There was a certain group of people that were regularly there, and I didn't train so well. Not that it was good banter and bits and pieces like that. And
do you rather be by yourself or just with one other person? Yeah,
it was kind of like their attitude. So people around you influence you.
Yeah.
If you understand me. So like if one of them. So there's arguments that have started for the simple fact of one said, "Oh, like you've been on there that long, cobwebs are forming." They wanted to fight each other.
Okay.
And I was like, what?
Well, your testosterone's up. You've been doing.
It's like, oh, mate, you really got to lay off that trend. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But then obviously I've been going with my doctor. I go to the doctor's, get my blood pressure done, and then I go straight to the gym, which is about 3-4 o'clock. And it's a different kind of, not less people, different people are in there with a different focus. I find that they're a lot more focused, like you wave to each other because you've seen each other. Not that I know the person's name, but because you've regularly seen them in there at this specific time, you kind of give that each other that, right, mate, back again. But at different times, like you can go again at 9 o'clock in the morning. I've tried this one as well. I've gone at 9 o'clock, and there's another group of people, and I didn't like it because it was like they're constantly on their phones and they're trying to take pictures and they're this and that. And it's kind of like, but it's the same gym equipment, but it's the people around you that influenced how I worked out, and which it took me a long time to work out that it's not just the gym or what you're doing exercise-wise.
It's the environment.
That's the word I'm looking for.
There we go.
The environment around you.
That's what I'm here for.
Like if you go to the Pure Gym,
I'm like your
you do,
thesaurus.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the way you go because.
But I have to go at a
certain time.
Yeah.
Could you go at like 5 o'clock?
No.
Why?
I can't.
5 p.m. I'm talking about.
No. Oh my God, no.
Why?
Not for me. It's too busy. I go at 8. No one is there. 8 o'clock is just perfect time because I used to go at 5:30. Right, packed.
So if you had the same numbers of people at the time that you do go, and at 5 p.m., but it was a different kind of person, same number. So say there's 20, for example. So 20 people there and 20 people now, but it was a different kind of attitude. Do you think that would influence how you was?
I don't know if it would actually. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. It's quite funny because I always feel like I don't really want anyone to approach me in the gym. I just leave me alone. I'm doing my workout and stuff like that. But then sometimes I go to the gym and say I go every single time at like 8 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And I see the same people, and you get to the point you're like, all right. I even do that to the cleaner. The cleaner's like, you all right? All right? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then the cleaner came up and he was like, oh, I'm working out now. I was like, oh, cool. So he cleans the place and then works out. I'm like, mate, bang it. Like, exactly, probably free. And so, but actually, someone did message me. I won't say their name. I'd seen it at the gym loads of times, and like after a while, like the 20th time, 30th time, we're like, all right, yeah, you're right. That's it. Don't know his name. Don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. They might know who I am.
Yeah.
From being in Reading and stuff like that. So, and then I think he just liked one of my posts, and I was like, oh, I'll just follow you. And then nothing. I think he went on holiday and blah blah blah. And then I was like, oh, how was your holiday? I was like, yeah, it's good. I haven't seen you at the gym for a while. It's like, oh, I've been focused on running. He's like, okay. Well, when you come back, if you want a gym buddy, then let's do that. I was like, oh, yes. I love that.
Did you prefer training by yourself or with somebody? Or did you think that changes your mental attitude?
No, I like both. I'm quite chilled with it. I can go on my own and just get into it. But if someone's there and he's just chatting about stuff and stuff, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really mind. I had a situation when I had the person I used to live with. We'd go to the gym together, but we'd never work out together. He would just walk to the
other side. So you ever had a gym partner that actually trains at doing the same exercise with you?
My brother-in-law and I used to go to classes a lot. Could be like the only boys. So I'd do it with him, but I wouldn't do it by myself. Way too intimidating. Don't want to be the only boy. They'd be like, why are you not working?
That's another thing about gym. Do you feel certain times of the day you're less intimidated with other people around that are in that time?
I think they've changed a lot of the gyms lately to not have like a walled off, big weights. It's all open planned. There's no place that you feel like you can't really go, because everything is open planned. There used to be more sort of like walls and stuff up before, and then there was special rooms. I think now it doesn't really bother me. And there's so many people, I have to say, right, there's just like the dedication of some people that I see in there and stuff. Like, and last year I was going loads, and then I just dropped off a bit, and then I've now just gone back into running. I actually did my 50th park run, by the way. So that is, if you don't know what park run it is, it's a 5K run every Saturday all around the world, and it starts at 9 o'clock. So I know it's early on a Saturday, but it's not, because then it's done. And actually, my godson, who is 13, named Alfie, he did it with me for the first time. And
Does it also set you up for doing it like?
Then he was up, and then he was like, "Oh," I was like, "You're going to go back to bed?" He's like, "Nah, I'm up now." But he was like, what time would you get up normally? He's like, oh, no, 11.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's 13, 14. Of course he's going to do that. So, but it was just quite nice, and there's a nice camaraderie, and I've done 50 of them all together, and then I'll just carry on doing them. It's really good for my own head, and I run anyway, so not more than 5K. No, if it's not for you, but then you do the gym.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you a question.
Go on.
Am I going to say names? I don't know. We'll see. Got some news today, this morning, and just saw it on social of a friend and someone I used to work with. But the person I used to work with also lived a very, very close friend of mine I spoke to today, lived at the house, and a really nice guy. And normally when people say, or don't say how, I come to the conclusion what it is. And this person is not with us anymore. I think he's 34, 35, and he died yesterday. Now, when I hear, Darius, Caroline, and there's no explanation of how, wasn't a car crash, wasn't an illness. It was a terminal illness and stuff. It was
just sudden.
Yeah. And, I haven't seen this person for a while. Though, weirdly enough, I do remember that I did a podcast. He did my podcast. But I never put it out because we had some technical issues in sound. And it doesn't sound great. I'm going to see if I can try and rectify it in any way. But I phoned my friend and spoke to my other friend about it. And I phoned my friend. I said, how are you doing? He's just like, yeah, I'm pretty crap. If those situations happen, no one in my close friendship group has succeeded of taking their own life. But if they did, I don't know how I get through.
I've had a fair few people in my lifetime that have done this, from even when I was at secondary school. I'm not going to mention any names, but obviously a young lad hung himself in bits and pieces at school, and we found him. And I've had work colleagues, friends do it. Yeah, I've experienced that. It will stick with you forever. It's, in the politest way, what I've experienced, and this is just my opinion, it's sometimes better to have a reason to blame, like as if they had cancer.
Yeah.
It's easier to take, or it was old age, or a disease,
because you
or
can't,
something killed them.
you couldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah, but you could have done something, or people feel like,
I don't know if you
that
could,
they
but
could.
I feel like
No, you can't.
No,
you couldn't.
they'll hide it from you.
Yeah, no,
You'll never know.
but that's how you feel. Like you could have physically, if I just made that phone call, or I thought about it. But life,
When you
it's
went
not
through
easy.
your trauma and the stuff that happened to you, what do you reckon the impact would have been if you weren't here?
I don't know. I've never thought of that. Well, that's a lie. I've thought about, when I was in my darkest times, what I'd want people to think of my funeral and bits and pieces. The impact to friends, I think they would be upset for a period of time, and then life would just go back to being normal, right?
Yeah, because it kind of has to. But
Yeah.
would anyone blame themselves?
I don't think anybody's to blame at that stage.
No, of course not.
Because I chose, when I went to do something very stupid.
Could anyone have stopped you? Apart from yourself? Is there anyone out there that could have,
my mother stopped me. My mother physically stopped me from doing it. And then I realised how upset she was. And then it was only obviously when I had therapy and bits and pieces, they were like at one point I could have said, what is the point? What am I doing this for? Why am I trying to get myself better? And I latched on to, it's for my kids. But if you're truly honest, you're looking for a way to give yourself that excuse to not do it. I'm scared of going back to that dark time. But if somebody has truly made their mind up, yeah, okay, if my mum stopped me and I managed to do certain things and get myself in the right headspace, but if you truly want to, whether somebody stops you then, if you want to do it, no one's gonna stop you.
Yeah, I know my friend, someone
No.
close to me, they went through stuff themselves, and then they went to like a therapy session with other people and stuff like that, and it was like one by one over the next course of the next couple of years that they did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're like, and it's just, I don't know, like for instance, it's a while ago now, and there was a festival that they're hosting this year. They did last year for Caroline and stuff like that, locally in Enfield if you want to go to it. But I feel, is there ever justification for someone to do it? Do you reckon there is a part where it's just so bleak that there is literally no other thing to do? Like, that's it. Because they're now saying in parts of the world that actually, if you don't have to have a terminal illness to now, die with dignity. You can,
Like assisted suicide from a disease, yes,
yeah,
I agree with. This is my opinion. That I agree with.
it's the individual, isn't it? Really?
If you don't, but if you're in a mental state,
yeah,
I don't agree with it.
yeah,
And obviously, I've been there, and the only reason being is
you can't take it back.
you can't. It's and I get why you would do it, because you're going to die anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Or the assisted stuff that's going to kill you. You want to have that power, take the power back from the thing. I get that. When you're in a mental state, like the only way to best to describe it is if you shut your eyes, you could still see a bit of light, right? Even with your eyes shut. But imagine, even with your eyes shut, the lights, everything else is off. That's when you're at your darkest point, and that's how I saw no way out. And it wasn't kind of like you wanted to die. You
wanted to stop.
You need a break.
You want it to stop.
You want it to stop. So the only way to make it stop is to kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm truly honest, what I wanted was to get away from in here. That's why I don't agree. Because if you can get the tools that allow you to not see it in that light, then if you had let that person do it.
What if you tried 10 times?
If you tried 10 times.
I don't know these answers to the question.
No,
This is what's coming to my mind. And just like, there's an element is like, I don't know.
I know one person in particular, and basically he threw himself off of the IDR in Reading to kill himself. He wasn't very mentally stable. He did it, survived. They took him to hospital. He'd busted his legs. The same day, they didn't get him help. He went back and did it again. Second time he killed himself.
Yeah.
But that means...
If you're going to be that extreme, that's why...
That's what I'm trying to say, is if you are determined, if that person is determined, it doesn't matter who, what, when, you could give them all the money in the world, solve all the problems.
Well, sometimes it's not a cry for help. Sometimes it is a stop.
It's a stop. And that's how it was for me. Like, as if, in a plainest way, I wanted to play a computer game. It was too much. It was too intense. That darkness, the whole emotions, the way I was feeling, how I was scared, how I felt as a failure, it was kind of... I left myself, an only option was to stop these thoughts, the feelings, anything, the whole way to make it stop. There's only one way to make that stop, True, and that's switch it off. And the only way to switch them feelings off is to kill yourself.
Yeah. But then it's,
To be in that place, a lot of people say it's a selfish way to commit suicide.
Yeah, I probably needed to just have to stop myself from saying that. I felt, because I feel like you might not be thinking about anyone else, but how can you? You can only think about yourself in those situations, can't you? No one understands your pain than anything else.
It wasn't a case of I was trying to upset my kids,
of course.
anybody, or punishing anybody. It was purely because I needed to get out of this. I needed to just stop. I couldn't handle the scared. I was scared. And I know people look at me and go, how could someone... I was terrified of myself.
Yeah.
Of the thoughts that I was having, the feelings, the whole emotions, none of it was pleasurable. None of it. It was not even like you could hurt your hand and cut yourself. It will stop eventually. This would, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there is no escape. And the only option I had, or I thought I had, was to make it stop. And I was so determined to make it stop. And I tried to do the cries for help to see if somebody could help me. And because I didn't use the words, please fucking help me, I did it in such a stupid fucking way that I involved my children, I involved everybody, but no one got what was in here. If you could put a fucking thing on my head and play it, and what people were like, fuck me, he's hurting. You know, you get the music, the award winning, but I couldn't describe, or I didn't have the skills to say, oh, I'm fucking so hurt, I'm so scared. Literally, watching Peaky Blinders, I'd watched it hundreds of times, but scared the fucking living shit out of me, and I'd have panic attacks. And it wasn't until I learned the panic attacks felt like I was dying, physically, mentally, everything. And it wasn't until I educated myself a little bit that they couldn't last any more than 25 minutes. It felt like it were going to go on forever. But if somebody's determined to do something, the only reason I'd say don't do it right now, give it one more day. So if you said to me, oh, I'm going to do this, right, or I could pick up that you were going to do this, I think I would say, give it 24 hours. Ask yourself the same questions 24 hours later. Because at that specific time, you may be in complete darkness. 24 hours later, there might even be just that one pin drop of light. But ask yourself, delay it 24 hours, ask the same question.
And you will probably find some light in that time, you know what I mean? Or distraction.
And that's the bit. But honestly, to say at that time, the only thing, if you can hear what I'm saying right now and you're thinking of that, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're listening to this, whatever time of day it is, ask yourself the same question, delay it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying do it.
Yeah.
Delay it by 24 hours and see if you come out with the same fucking answers as you did 24 hours before.
And they won't. I mean, there was, I don't know if I spoke about this on the podcast before. I was listening to another podcast, a guy called Alan Buxton, and which is a great podcast. And I think he was talking to a novelist. I think her name was Marion. Irish lady, and she had been suffering from mental health for a very long time, massive self-doubt, and I'll come to my little thing that I have to say at the end. And I don't know if I can tell the story about being upset. So she said to her husband, they've been married for ages, and loving relationship, and she just said, I don't think I can do it anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, do you know what the husband said? She said, I'm just gonna let you know, today's my last day. And Jenna's husband said, he went, okay, can you do one more thing? And she said, yeah. He's like, can you sit next to me and can we watch Come Down With Me? And she said, okay. So it's that. I told you I get upset. And they watched Come Down With Me. And when it finished, just the understanding that he had, he didn't shout at her. He didn't panic at her. He didn't go, oh my God, what are we going to do? He just, okay, I understand. I understand what's going on here. And they finished watching the show. And he said, can I run you a bath? Or a shower? She's like, okay. And she didn't feel the same when she, just the understanding. So sometimes you don't have to be the savior. You just have to listen. You just have to understand. As soon as you have that, it's so important. You don't have to save everyone.
No.
But if you just listen and not try and save, it's so strong. We have such harsh views of ourselves, and the thing I wrote down actually is, I've seen so many people struggling. Super emotional today. Just a big day. You can talk for a sec.
With things like that, I think her husband kind of appreciated the fact that she has her own mind.
Yeah.
And you can't force somebody to think the way you think. That the only reason, if we're truly honest, why we don't want somebody to kill themselves, because you're being selfish.
Yeah, of course, because it affects
Because
you.
it affects you, right?
Yeah, of course.
In the sense of, but should somebody, I don't know, there's a lot of debate about this kind of thing. At that time, I didn't do it to upset anybody.
No, of course not.
I didn't do or want it to.
But if I mean, I know your mum saved you and stuff like that, but like if you know, I think it's really hard not to be hysterical in that moment. I remember a friend of mine drove until they ran out of petrol.
Yeah.
And I was just like, where are you? I can see where they are. I've got them on my find a friend. On purpose. I was like, okay. I'll come and get you. Don't have to say anything else. I'm not going to try and stop you, do anything. I'm just going to come. All right? Just stay there. Well, you can't go anywhere because you've got no bloody petrol. A thing I wrote down the other day, very, very quick, and then we'll have like your thoughts of the day and week and month, whatever. When we look at ourselves, we'll see everything that we don't like, inside and out. Photographs, all that stuff. Mirror. But if we could look at ourselves how other people look at us, they don't see any of those things.
No.
I think sometimes we need to slightly get out of our own head sometimes and
Well,
not worry
biggest
about
self-criticism, right?
Oh, incredible. I have this technique, right? So a lot of people, especially getting older, I do understand this, but a lot of people say, I don't like myself in photographs. I hear it all the time. Kids say it as well. I get it right. You know, teenagers and stuff like that. I don't like myself in photographs. You take photographs like, oh, do you want to see? No. I don't want to see. Or they show them like, oh, God, I hate, oh, God, bloody hell. You've got another, oh, can we do another picture? This is terrible, right? I have a technique here. If someone takes a picture of you, or you take a picture of someone else, don't look at it until tomorrow. And the reason why I say don't look at it until tomorrow is that if you look at the picture tomorrow and you don't like yourself in that picture, you only didn't like yourself yesterday. Today is a completely different day. You take yourself at the moment. If you look at that picture and you don't like yourself, you don't like yourself today. I'd rather not like myself yesterday and have less opinion about that today. And that's kind of my little technique that I do with photographs.
That's not a bad way of looking at it.
Yeah, because you go back and look at your photographs, I guarantee when the photograph, oh my God, it's a good photo of me like from 5 years ago.
That, though, in the principle of what you said, like I've taken a picture today, for example, and I've gone, oh God. Then I've looked at pictures I didn't like from years ago, and then I go,
how banging
wow,
did you look?
How young did you look?
I look wicked.
It was like, oh my God, I should have fucking gone on some more dating apps and shit like that.
So exactly the same thing on this one as well. Imagine. So you take a picture of yourself today, don't like it, think you look old, blah, 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 right? Think what your 6-year-old self would say
Exactly
if your photograph right now. They were like, damn
that.
it, I should enjoy being this age. Because
Yes.
like it's all comparable. Like, you know.
Even my son said that to me, like, Dad, you look really young in that. I'm like, yeah, that's when life is simple.
Oh, people say it to me all the time.
Right, but I would have looked at it and gone, oh, I don't like that.
They watched my X Factor audition, they're like, oh my God, you've aged. I was like, mate, it's 14 years ago, you've aged. What are you talking about? Let me get 14 years ago picture or videos of you and see what you look like, right? You know, everyone has aged. That's
And
what,
I guarantee you didn't like it at the time, though. But
no,
I wish you'd look at it now and go, oh, yeah, I did actually look all right.
I don't think I think about myself in that way, but yeah,
Why
I do.
not? Bit of self-love's no...
No, it's not about self-love. I'm just, I don't know. I wasn't like mean about myself or anything like that. Like I didn't have that perception. I just looked young. That's all I looked.
Yeah, youth.
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah.
was. But I look young to my 6-year-old self now. So just who cares? You're as young as you know what I mean. Like if you hang around with older people, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're so young." But if you hang around 20-year-olds, they're like, "Bloody hell, you're old."
an old man.
Yeah. Nothing has changed. You're still the same bloody age.
Exactly that.
Thought of the day. What's going on in your brain?
My one, obviously I'm going to go back to an old one after the discussion we had today, is literally ask yourself the same questions 24 hours later.
Like it.
See if you still have the same opinions,
Yeah. And it
same
really
thought
ties in
process.
with everything you said. Mine is no one should or will care about you more than you.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with that one thing you said about me getting myself, on the list. I stick to that regularly, and I've actually got quite a few other people to do that.
You gotta be on your own list.
And I'm still sticking to the process of where would I be in a year time by giving 100%.
Oh,
I'm still doing that now.
wow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do this. New Year's resolution. It lasted for about 3 seconds. And like that.
Give it everything.
Well, I did. I wanted to do my 50th parkrun. I have now done 51. And by the end of the year, I do look to have made that 100. So we'll see what happens.
Fair play to you.
So yeah. And I'm going to volunteer and help out and stuff as well because they need volunteers. So if you want to do parkrun, it's all around the country. It's free. It's free. And it's not a race against other people. People are just running 5K. The only race there is
so
against
you're
yourself.
not racing against yourself though from the last time you did it. When
If you want, I actually
hours
but I think in the sense 4 hours. Wow, I think how far are we running? I think there is an element that I'd be like, oh, I was faster last week, but I actually go to different places and do parkruns at different places, so I don't really compare it because even if it's 5K, well, some are hills, some are paths, some is wet, some is dry, some is sunny, some, you know what I mean? So it's always changing.
Excuses.
So I normally look that my time is in between 25 and 26. That's normally my time.
What, hours?
No, minutes.
Oh.
It's 5K.
What, you do 5K in 25 minutes?
Mate, the fastest 5Ks every single week, people are doing it and they're like 16, 17, 18, they're doing 17 minutes. Mate, it's incredible.
No, you're right.
Incredible. Yeah, 25 minutes is I can do 5K. Yeah, my godson, he did it. I did it 26:10, he did it 26:02. And I think he ran with me. I had the dog with me as well, and I think he could have taken 2 minutes off
He
that.
was just being nice to an old man.
I know it was his first one, so I don't think
So
he wanted to leave.
Nice to you then.
Yeah, he was being nice, but I think if he went and did it again, I'd be like, right, go, and I'll meet you at the end.
Off you go, see what
Go.
you can do.
That's what I said to my nephew. He can do it in 22, so,
Right, so on that one,
Yes.
don't forget to subscribe. Obviously, Kai will put this in at the beginning and all the rest of it. He's doing a banging voiceovers at the moment.
Wonderful.
He's doing really good.
Yeah. We'll
watch
get
this
back on the
space.
guests as well, because it's going to be half terms and all that stuff.
Yeah, we've
and
got
I've
some
work.
guests coming up.
Ooh.
Obviously, I need to tell you after this, but I need to go for a week first.
Thanks for that. Pete, thanks for doing stuff all behind the scenes, as always. Bring your mic next time. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you very much. It's nice to be back. 2023. Let's get more episodes out. Let's go and have
Perfect.
some fun with it.
Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Thank you.
Look after yourself.